Pre-Doc, it's the same program. The Pre-Doc program is the actual program. Sally, once you win the scholarship, you're designated as Sally Casanova Scholar. So you might hear us use those terms back and forth. Good afternoon, my name is Natasha Ullman. I have a panel that is meeting with or doing this presentation with me, and they're gonna introduce themselves in a little bit. I'd like to go actually to the, let's see here. Talk about, let me get into my PowerPoint here. Sorry about that. So a little bit about Zoom communication protocols. If you have a question, certainly post it in the chat. There's 4 of us on the panel today, so we're going to be, moderating the chat and also giving you, sharing the presentation with you and talking about the program with you. If you have questions, though, you can use like I said, the chat, or you can also use the raised hand feature right here. And so let us know, as we're going through, we're absolutely open for questions. You don't have to hold those until the very end. Please consider, we'd love to see and hear from you. If you want to enable your start video, if comfortable, that's great. And if you want to enable your unmute my audio, if you'd like to ask a question, that'd be great too. This recording, I'm going to actually start us recording in a bit, and it will be available on the UROC site after this session.
Natasha, just if you can put your camera just slightly up.
Thank you. Yeah, sorry, I'm working with like 14 monitors. Excellent, thank you. Oh, there we go. Hi. Hi, everyone.
It's like recording.
Hi. That's awesome.
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. I'm going to actually turn it over to my facilitators.
Ready? Hello,
Mirsha?
everyone.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, I can go ahead and start. Hello, everyone. My name is Selena. Most of you know me. I was an awardee in the 2019-2020 cycle, and there's my email if any of y'all want to contact me. Happy to be here.
My name is Mirsha Garcia, and I am a co-coordinator along with Natasha, and I am an admin support coordinator over at the Office of the Provost. And then there's my email, and mora@csumb.edu. If you have any questions.
Hi, my name is Selena Espinoza. I'm our current Sally Casanova winner for the 2020-21 cycle. My major is psychology with a minor in statistics. Thank you. And I also have my email if you'd like to email as well.
A little bit about our information too, and so you can always contact us. I'm going to talk a little bit about the history and the overarching goal of the Sally Casanova Pre-Doctoral Scholar Program. It's in its 31st year. It's been going on since about 1989, so it's funded quite a few students, and you're going to see that number in a little bit. It is funded by the CSU system and from the California Lottery Fund, interestingly enough, right? So the lottery tickets are actually what fund this particular scholarship. I think that's always a fun fact. One of the goals and the main overarching goal of the Sally Casanova Pre-Doctoral Scholars Program is to increase the diversity of pool of newly minted PhDs from which the CSU draws its faculty. So basically, sort of like the way I think about that is as an undergraduate student or a graduate student, these are both available to both undergrads and graduates, but as a student in the California state system finishing up your program, either an undergrad or graduate, you have the opportunity to get this scholarship, and then it will help you go on to do your PhD and get your doctorate. And then the idea is to actually come back into, you have an opportunity to come back into the CSU system to be a full faculty. And so that's the that's really the overarching goal of this particular program is the folks who have actually grown up in the CSU or have a degree from the CSU have valued the CSU and loved their schooling that they got and want to come back and sort of give back and come back into the CSU system. It's not a contract. I just want to say it's not a contract. If you get the scholarship, nobody's going to hunt you down and say you have to be a CSU faculty. But what it does do is it gives you the opportunity. It looks really wonderful on applications moving forward when you do apply for faculty positions at one of the California state campuses. And we have 23 of them. So it's across the state of California. The program goals are, so inside of that overarching goal, it's to support the doctoral aspirations of CSU students who have experienced economic and educational disadvantages. So really the idea is to diversify the pool of CSU faculty and to really make sure that everybody is sort of represented in that space. And so the idea is that you want to sort of move into and get go on to get your doctorate degree. The goal, again, is to increase the number of CSU students who enter PhD programs and into the University of California campuses. And one of the special things I think about this particular program is that while it is a CSU campus, program, it is tightly connected to the UC system. And so the UC system, offers many doctorate programs. And they highly value the Sally Casanova scholars and look for those scholars in the application process when folks are applying to their master's or PhD programs at UC Berkeley, at UC Irvine, Riverside, all these different UCs that are spread across the Californias, across California. I think the other part of this program is also the applicants have an opportunity to really connect nicely with a CSU faculty mentor, and that's the third bullet here. You're able to, right away in the application process, and we'll talk a little bit about what that application process looks like later, but you're able to connect right away with a CSU faculty mentor, and that mentor is actually your guide through the whole entire process of the application, and then also in that award cycle. So both Selena, right, Selena's have talked about, they are in an award cycle, and both of them have a CSU MB faculty mentor that has been working with them and guiding them and helping them on the path to doctoral studies. So you're not doing this alone. You have a really wonderful faculty mentor by your side. A little bit about the program statistics, and here you see the Sally Casanova scholars who are on our panel today, and also, or facilitators, excuse me, and you see them in action at conferences here, presenting their research. You can see the number, there's close to about 2,300 plus scholars since 1989. And again, those scholars are undergrads and graduates. About 42% of each cohort end up in fully funded PhD programs. And an average of about 12 scholars are admitted each year to a PhD program at a UC campus. I'm gonna let Mirsha, my co-facilitator, talk about that last bullet there, because she has a special she runs this program. Mirsha, go ahead.
Yes, since 2014-15 academic year, around 24.7%, so close to 25% of Sally Casanova's scholars receive funding for their PhD programs through the Chancellor's Doctoral Incentive Program, which is also known as CDIP. CDIP is a sister program to PreDoc. It also offers, it's also offered through the Chancellor's Office for students who are in the stages of applying to a PhD program or already enrolled in a PhD program. And I'll give more information on CDIP towards the end of this workshop.
Great, thanks, Mirsha. So a little bit about participant eligibility before we get into the nuts and bolts of the application and kind of what to expect. This is really important because a lot of folks Mirsha and I work with very closely, students maybe sometimes in their last year as a senior, come to us and say, I want to apply for this. And so there's particular sort of time frame you have to really think about to sort of be a competitive applicant for this particular program. So the first bullet is really sort of very key. And so if you read, when I sort of go through this first bullet, think about your own timeline and how you fall into that. And certainly if you have any questions, you can let us know. But an upper division master's degree or undergraduate, but you have to be enrolled at a CSU institution as of spring 21, and will also be enrolled for at least one semester of the academic year of 21-22. So that's going to be really important, because what happens is you get funded as a scholar, and then you have a year to use those funds, and a year to prep for your doctoral programs, and a year to prep for graduate school. So they really want you to have that time. It's available to all CSUMB students. Even undocumented students can also apply. Each applicant, and I talked about that faculty mentor, you have to have a faculty mentor from CSUMB who will be available for the duration of the award year. And that's really important because sometimes, faculty take a year off because they have sabbatical. So you really just want to make sure that your faculty will be with you for the award year, but you can work with Mirsha and I to kind of figure that out too. Here's the ineligibility piece of it. And as I say that, there's also a little statement at the bottom that says, if you have any questions about your particular eligibility, do speak with Mirsha or me, because there's little nuances about this. But Ineligible students include, so for example, international students are excluded from applying because again, they kind of want to see you coming back to the CSE system. And students interested more in the professional degrees such as dentistry, law, medicine, pharmacy, or even in the business sector like MBA degrees. Now, a couple years ago, there was a student who was actually a dual psychology and pre-law minor, and he got the Sally Casanova. So even though we have law here as ineligible, because he weaved his research in psychology and pre-law, and that was his idea, was to go on to get his Ph.D. and his J.D., which is a Juris Doctorate, degree. He was eligible, right? So there's all sorts of, check with us in terms of eligibility. That's all we have to say, because, we just, it's always good to chat that up. All right, I'm gonna turn it over to Selena and Selena to talk a little bit about the application details. Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Natasha. So getting into the details of the application, it's important to note that applications are only eligible after submission after they've been reviewed and approved by a campus coordinator. So that would be Natasha or Mirsha. After everything is complete, they've checked your application, they will open the submission portal before the final deadline for you to submit it. So they will give you that access. So for the application, it consists of multiple components, of which we'll go over all of them in the next slides. First, it includes general information, such as personal and educational questions. Then there will be 3 essays, and then 1 letter of recommendation from your faculty mentor, the one faculty mentor that you choose to guide you through the pre-doc process. As well, you're able to submit, or you have to submit, a student budget plan, which is basically what you'll be using the money for and how you plan to allocate those funds. And we'll take a closer look at the budget later. And then lastly, you're to submit your transcripts. Your CCMB1 should be fine because it should include all of your past college grades, including any community college courses that you've taken. Next slide, please. So we will be using screenshots of the 2019-2020 application to look at their exact language and get you familiar with the application. This and the 2020, the future applications, should be similar, minus any dates that you see that will be out of date, obviously. It starts off with general information. It includes basic demographics, first generation status, and asks you for your 9-digit student ID. And so if you can all take a few seconds to just review this page, and do you have any questions about anything it's asking?
And there's some good questions in the chat that we're going to turn our attention to as well. So you're going to get those answers in a little bit here.
Mm-hmm. All right, great. No questions? Okay, this section is pretty straightforward. Next slide, please. So the next is personal information. Some questions about income and working status, also pretty straightforward, similar to maybe filling out a financial aid document. Take about 30 seconds to scan the section. And do you have any questions about this section? Feel free to either put it in the chat or raise your hand or unmute yourself. Ready.
Hi, really quick question. So I popped this question in the chat and I just want to make sure I ask it just in case I don't have to, sit through the whole presentation. But I am graduating in the spring of 2021. So I'm too late to apply for this program.
No. Right, Natasha? It ends in spring. Is that correct?
Because the previous page with the requirements said that I need to be in one semester of the 2021-2022 semesters.
So you'll be graduating next spring, so spring 2021?
Yes.
Okay, so unfortunately, yes, you would need to be here for the fall, at least through fall 2021 to be eligible to apply.
And does that go with the Chancellor's Doctoral Initiative incentive?
No, that one is if you're going straight to a PhD program,
Okay.
or if you're a graduate student going to a PhD program, or if you're an undergrad going straight to a PhD program.
Okay. And are y'all talking about that more towards the end, or is it?
Yes, and I can,
Okay.
and if you have, if you know you don't want to stay on for the conversation, I can reach out to you separately, and I can give you more information on that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'll do that. I'm sorry.
Sounds good. No, you're good. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Darshel.
So do you want me to email you or?
No, I'll write down your name right now, and then I will contact you right after this.
Okay. I apologize. I wasn't for sure if I should stay on the whole call or not. Thank you very much.
That's exactly why we
Thank
talked
you.
about eligibility early. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay. Cool. See y'all later.
Okay, bye. Have a good weekend.
You too. Bye.
Okay. So any other questions, burning questions that we have?
I'm sorry, yes, I had my hand raised, but I don't know if I put that too late. So I guess this is more of like for question number D, it says, what is your family's yearly income? Does income play like a big role in this application, I guess?
Yeah, that's a good question. It kind of does in some ways because they kind of want to make sure that they're being equitable and sort of thoughtful of the folks who are sort of economically disadvantaged. And so they want to give opportunities there. But I wouldn't say that it plays it's not the only factor, certainly. And so they're trying to get a sense of your particular your income particularly, and also your parents' income, if that actually factors in. Some cases it doesn't actually factor in, but they still want to know your family's yearly income even if you aren't underneath your family anymore, but they still want to know that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
No, I just
yeah.
wanted to, okay, perfect.
Mhm.
Thank you.
And there
You're
is
welcome.
it does ask if they contribute to your education, so I think that they just want to know, your family background.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Great question.
Like they take into consideration like that difference between F and G, if it's like a significant difference, as well as I, if they don't contribute. But great question, sorry.
Okay, thank you again.
Okay, great. So the next section, excuse me, asks about educational information. This section is pretty standard too for the most part. There are a few things to note though. For example, if you're not a graduate student, these questions won't apply. If you can click, Natasha.
Oh, sure.
There's two asking about graduate school, like GPA, as well as if you're a graduate student, when did you receive your bachelor's degree? Right there, highlighted. And then next, the GRE scores are not required. If you can click again, please. But they are encouraged.
Sorry.
Oh, you're totally good. They are encouraged. So when I applied, I didn't have my GRE scores because I didn't take them. I had nothing to report, and that's okay. If you did take the GRE, then you should report those scores as it's recommended and asked for. And then lastly, this last question about discipline in which you intend to pursue doctoral study can sometimes be tricky to fill out. For example, Natasha mentioned earlier that some degrees would make you ineligible for pre-doc. And so it's a similar situation in that you have to be strategic in how you frame it or label it as. And so double check with like a coordinator if you think that you would be in that ballpark, just to be sure. And so, hey, Susie, you had a great question earlier. You may be unsure about teaching. I would suggest like meeting with a coordinator to discuss your goals and the potential of being a CSU faculty to see if it's in line with what you're wanting to do in the future. And perhaps you'll get maybe a better idea after end of the presentation to see if it's a good fit.
And I just want to also add on to what Selena's saying about the discipline. Sometimes that's a question that's like way in the future. It's seen as kind of a really big future question. And sometimes as an undergrad or even graduate student, you're still kind of like, I'm not sure which discipline I actually want to do my doctoral studies in. So sometimes a chat with one of the coordinators or certainly one of the scholars online, Selena and Selena, can just, kind of start that conversation going and really help you sort of think through that question and be able to answer it.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So great. So next is the bulk of the application. Selena and I will be talking about the 3 essays that are included. Each essay is about 300 to 600 words, and so you should utilize every single one of them if you can. So 600 words is about 1 page, single-spaced for each to give you an idea. Now, this isn't a whole lot of room when you're wanting to fit a lot of important details in them. And this is why revising is super important. And so you're able to refine all those details you have and maximize your limited space. So being able to say a lot of things in a small amount of words. And so all in all, collectively, these essays should be cohesive and flow together nicely. I'll try to explain that in a second. So if you can click Natasha, please.
Mm-hmm.
So the first essay is kind of like a mini research proposal. You'll talk about the field of study that you're wanting to go into. The evaluators want to know how knowledgeable you are about the field and how in depth you can go into detail about your research field and question. And, this includes a thorough literature review, citing the most relevant and recent theoretical perspectives in the field. As well, it includes how well you can describe the 1 to 2 research questions that you propose. It's the difference between saying I'm interested in this question versus I'm interested in this question because I want to build upon this person's research, which is the best top research right now to up to date. That difference. And so the second essay, if you can click please, Natasha, is all about your merit. And so now they know, for the first essay, they know you're knowledgeable about the field you're wanting to go into and that you have a question that you want to study. So now they want to know if you can accomplish this. You can think of it as a statement of purpose. You'll pull upon your research work, leadership experience, and skills that are relevant to being a graduate student or pursuing doctoral studies. And that distinction is because you can also go into a master's program after. You don't have to go straight into a PhD. And so this second essay is where you would show that you're prepared to be a graduate student and prepared to succeed in doctoral studies. So for the third essay, is everyone still following me? Can I get a thumbs up from the crowd? Thumbs up, awesome, cool. Thank you, Seth. So this third essay is where you really want to drive it home to showcase your preparedness for becoming a CSU faculty. So the pre-doc goal is to have applicants become a CSU faculty. So this essay lets you paint a picture of yourself for the evaluators as a future CSU faculty. It asks why you're interested in being one, in particular at a CSU, how you're prepared, and what experiences do you still need to become better prepared. And so, for example, that the underlying piece about serving a diverse student body is prompting you to talk about the CSU campuses, the diversity of CSU campuses. How will you promote or add to the diversity of a CSU campus? What have you already done? Yeah, and speaking to that at CSUs. As well, this last essay is, as a whole, is tricky because one, it's hard to get in the mindset of a future faculty. I know when I was applying, it was difficult for me because I didn't know what to talk about. I'm I want to teach. I like students, so it's kind of hard to talk about what do you include other than I'm a good teacher or something like that, And so these are great ideas, but how can you like elevate them to the professoriate level, which can be tricky. It has some, as well, the third essay has some hidden talking points that you should or could hit in your essay, but they don't explicitly write that in it. So this is the reason why it's so helpful, so crucial to work with someone who's had experience with these essays. Natasha and Selena, or me, I'm happy to help. Right, and so to come full circle, if the first essay shows that you have the research mindset of a graduate student, the second shows that you have the necessary skills and experiences to succeed in doctoral studies. And then these first two support the third essay, asking you to look into the future and show them what it would be like if you were a CSU faculty. If you can click one more time, Natasha.
Mm-hmm.
Great, and thank you for monitoring the chat.
Mm-hmm.
And then click one more time. Yes, so that is sort of the equation that I see these essays complementing each other, having the reset mindset, plus the skills to succeed in doctoral studies, equate to you as a future CSU faculty. And the skills includes ones that you already have or need. Doesn't sound too hard, right? No, I'm kidding. Awesome. So before Selena and I talk about our experiences and share some tips, are there any questions about these essays?
I can't underscore enough what Selena was just saying. It seems like you could write these over the weekend because they're asking for 300 to 600 words, and you're like, oh yeah, easily. That's like a couple paragraphs. Ends up being about like slightly, you know, what was it, Selena? It's like a couple pages, at least a full page.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the careful consideration of what it is and who you are, and sort of thinking about you in the future. That's the piece that you really have to drill down on, and talking with somebody about that can be illuminating in so many ways. And I think also, yeah, so I'm gonna leave it at that because I think they're gonna talk about experiences. So yeah, okay.
Yes, Saray, these essays questions are always the same. I think they may have changed the order, but they all stay relatively the same.
Mm-hmm.
Great question. Cool. So next slide, Natasha. Selena and I will tag team this slide. For me, the most helpful part regarding the essays was the meetings that I had with Natasha personally. It was helpful to like just talk it out. I know sometimes if you're trying to write, but you're also editing at the same time, your ideas just get jumbled and lost. If you're talking to someone and they're writing it down and are able to decipher it and organize it, it helps a lot because you're like, oh yeah, that's really what I was trying to say actually. And so it was helpful, one, deciphering the meanings of the essay prompts, and then two, the essay crafting part, planning what information to include. Natasha was like really helpful throughout the whole thing, planning, writing, and then revising. And so she's a great resource, as well as Selena has a lot of great experience as well. Do you have anything to add, Selena?
No, you did it perfect.
Okay, great. I just want to emphasize Natasha's point, like since it's only 600 words max, it can be hard to fit all like the stuff that you want to say in there. But actually that's why like many revisions and rounds of feedback are crucial to the process. It allows for you to find like the absolute main point that you want to get across within a matter of 1 to 2 sentences. And it takes like quite a few revisions in order to get to that refined state as well. That's why like starting early is so important. Very necessary, and you'll save yourself a lot of stress. You don't want to be that person stressing on the last day, pulling their hair out, rushing to delete words to make the word count, bothering Natasha at 10 p.m., submitting the application right at midnight. No one wants to be that person, least of all me. But it was me. Okay. I accept that that was me, which is why I'm telling you, prospective applicants, to learn from my mistakes. I don't want you to suffer the way I did unnecessarily.
To be fair, you also started the process pretty early. Like you started thinking about this early, just to be fair. Don't beat yourself up too much there.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Any other notes, Selena? Or I know you had a lot of help from Dr. Lovell, right? Your faculty mentor?
Yeah. So yeah, she was able to help me a lot. And then also Selena and Natasha were able to help me. And just going to that third bullet, feedback, great communication is key. Whether that be making a comment in your Google Doc and then you guys are responding constantly, or maybe you need to explain something more. You guys have a phone call of 30 minutes, or maybe it's an hour of you both working on the document together. So there's different ways to communicate, but doing that constantly and always revising and until the last minute, because there's so much you can do to change it and make it better.
Mm-hmm. That's a great point. And definitely like the flexibility of those that you work with. I know like once it started getting towards the end of the essay or end of the application, right up to the application due date, like I know I and Natasha and then you and I, Selena, started increasing our meetings and really refining that. So yeah, that's a great point. Communication is absolutely key. And you have a lot of resources to utilize. Your mentors, the pre-doc coordinators, both your staff. If you need extra support, as well as the writing fellows that you will have during that semester. And so you mentioned, Selena, to pay attention to the small details.
Yes. So in the instructions, it's very crucial to pay attention to the details that they have, like according like your page number, you want to include your last name and then your comma, your first name. So that's something like very specific. And then it has you include the question, the whole question in bold. So you want to, don't forget that. That's important because from the reader's perspective, there's a whole committee and they want to have that on them. So instead of having to go and look for the question, so it's just easier for them. And other little minor details within the instructions as well. For example, when you upload the paper, you have to have it at a certain format. So those little things you really want to pay attention to because they're looking to see if you are paying attention. So go ahead and follow the instructions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And going back to like my point of like, do it early so you're not rushing that last minute and you're reading everything that you have to do. Very helpful. Any questions about the essays as we wrap up the essay section?
I have a question, but I'll wait if there's any questions from the audience.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, as folks are thinking maybe about questions, I'll pose my question. To Selena and Selena, have you used any of your writing from this application for other things?
Yes, definitely. For me, it helped me prepare for graduate applications, which I'm doing right now. And, you know, obviously since I won, that's something I can legit build off of. And so we'll come back to it later at another point, talking about our experiences, but this is an amazing writing opportunity to grow as a writer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I totally second that. I used it as well for my graduate essays. It was a great start, especially going through the process. You really hone down in like your research questions or like what topics you're wanting to study in grad studies. And so getting all that like hard thinking beforehand allows you to just be like on that level when you're starting to write your grad apps. But yeah, it's a great question, Natasha.
Thank you.
Also
I apologize if that was a spoiler alert for something that's coming up.
Yeah, and to add off of that, it gets you in that framework of thinking far, like in the future, and you think it's far, but it's actually super close. And then you get those wheels turning, and then you're like, okay, this is actually going to be my future, and then it just prepares you along with all the fellowships, scholarships, and applications. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And you know, like the process itself, like you said, Selena, is very rewarding. You just get to think about all this stuff beforehand, and it's so much easier once you get into, like you said, fellowships. I forgot about that. Fellowships and grad apps. That's a great point.
Slide.
Yeah. Cool. So moving on to the letter of recommendation, the two biggest points that I have about it is to like make sure your recommender has enough time to write it, and they should be able to speak about you holistically and in line with the program's goals. And so they do perhaps already have on hand a letter of recommendation that they use for other things like REUs or other applications, but being able to speak to like your potential to succeed in doctoral studies specifically or as a CSU faculty is definitely like an add-on if you can have that in your application to show everything. Your whole application speaks to each other, your essays, this letter of recommendation, and then later we'll talk about the budget. And so they all should like be able to complement each other. And the faculty, it'd be great if they can talk to your determination and perhaps a little bit about like your background, perhaps why you're determined or motivated to go to a doctorate program and or CSU faculty, to be a CSU faculty. And so, like I said, the letter will be done by who you choose to be your faculty mentor. And so, you know, like they should know you pretty well already. Any questions about the letter of recommendation?
I know one question we always get is there's only one letter, just to make sure there's only one letter. Yes, there's only one letter for this particular scholarship. Many scholarship, you know, ask for 2, 3 letters. Fellowships ask for 3 or 4 letters sometimes. But yes, for the pre-doc, only one letter of recommendation from a CSU faculty.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Alrighty, so if there's no questions, we can move on to the next section, which is the budget. And so the budget will show you how to plan how you plan to spend the money according to like these 5 categories of activities. And so the first 2 are grad school visits to UC and other campuses. And these other campuses can include those outside of California. But there are a few restrictions on a few states. And so like when you meet with a coordinator, they can share that list with you once you're more like, oh yeah, I want to apply and like perhaps visit these schools and make sure it's not on that list. And so the third activity that they have is attending conferences and symposiums, which are very beneficial. So Selena and I will talk about more about how we used it in the next slide. The fourth is waiving grad school applications or admissions tests like the GRE. And so it should be noted that, as Natasha mentioned earlier, they have a close connection with the UC campuses. And so pre-doc scholars actually get all of their UC application fees waived. Application fees waived. I want to make sure I said that, not like the whole thing, fees. So you don't need to include those expenses here. And so the fifth category is subscriptions to professional organizations, journals, or research-related materials, programs, or any software that you need. And so when filling out the budget form, the estimated cost of each item will just be estimates. For example, if you have a flight that costs $525, you can round it to $500 or $550. You know, those fine differences will come out at the end, like later when you're trying to make everything fit and like meet that $3,000. When you have enough stuff, you can just adjust everything. And that's where rounding will really appear. So you don't need to really focus on that rounding piece. And so the budget that you submit, I want to note that the budget that you'll submit with your application will be the first version of 3. And so this first budget won't be set in stone. Doesn't mean that you have to use it for the things that you say. After this one, you'll submit 2 revisions, one in the middle of your application cycle and then one at the end. So this one won't be set in stone. But I will say that if you can go to the next slide, please, Natasha. I will say that while the budget perhaps seems easy, I want to emphasize that it should be given as much thought and effort as the essays. So remember that everything is strategic and should complement each other. And you can really showcase your thoughtfulness and forward thinking in this towards graduate school, you know, like where you want to go, where you want to visit. It shows that you've done your research on what grad schools you're thinking about, labs or research centers you're thinking about working in, what conferences are important in your field as well. And then the subscriptions especially show how serious you are about being in the field and about being a graduate student and being delving into the research. It shows that you pretty much are like you're already in this research, sciencey space, or like you're really ready to be in it, if that makes sense. And so, Selena, do you have any tips or experiences you want to share for this slide?
So keep in mind of the internal CSUMB deadline, there's going to be two, the official Sally Casanova deadline, but you want to pay attention to the CSUMB deadline. It's going to be a little bit earlier. Also, as far as my experience, I applied twice. And so the first time it was a 2019-2020 cycle, and I didn't receive it. And I went ahead and took the initiative to ask them if it was possible for me to apply again because I had another year left. And sure enough, they did say yes. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to take this as another opportunity to grow from this because I already went through the experience already. And then I went and got it. And so, you know, always don't give up. The main key, don't give up. Always ask. It doesn't hurt. You can always ask, like, even if it's not this application, for other applications, ask for feedback regarding your essays, you know, you can do that. And so that was my experience. So, and then also, as we said before, taking this experience as a great writing and learning experience, you'll grow. And so that is an award itself. So, yeah, it's an amazing opportunity to have all these support system and being able to show you ways you can develop your writing and grow as a writer. And again, it's going to help in future grad school and other scholarships and applications. And then lastly, have fun. Again, it's an amazing experience. You see yourself literally grow as a writer and a thinker, and you want to be able to like look at your future and, you know, build off of this and see what you can do. And so have fun with this. It's going to be,
Ooh, you kind of cut out at the end there a little bit, Selena. But yeah, that message is beautiful. I really like that. I didn't even think about it like that. You know, it is a very rewarding experience. And I was just like stressed the whole time. But like afterwards, you know, I think it is like a very awesome experience to have had. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. As far as like the budget, really work with your mentor. I think they can really help with what you can include in there. And they have like a lot of great ideas. And so as far as like traveling and everything, I wasn't able to do, I think, a few of the visits that I wanted to do. But like I said, there's multiple revisions. So if that needs to change, then that's totally okay. I switched that to fund some materials for grad school. So like using SPSS for like one subscription period, which is the statistical package for social sciences, which will be beneficial, used for analyses and statistics. As well, I spoke with my mentor and he suggested, you know, if you're doing qualitative work, you can get a video camera or an audio recorder. And so that'll be really unique as a grad student to have these materials, especially if you're doing research in the lab and you bring your own things. Like, it's really awesome. I'm working with a UC Davis professor this summer, actually, which is part of the Pre-Doc program. And so you can apply, if you don't get into or attend a doctorate program that next fall, and you are deciding either a break or master's studies, which I'll be doing master's studies, you can apply to have that summer research experience, like to prepare you for eventually applying to doctoral studies. And so when I was meeting with her, I told her she was applying for a grant, and like if she were to get it, then we can do this certain research study. But I told her that I had like this money that I could spend on like recording devices, and she was like, wow, that's like really neat. And I was like, oh, she's impressed by me. So yeah, like those subscription and like those materials just give you an edge and make you seem very competitive. Great. Any other things to add, Selena?
Yeah, regarding the essays, we didn't talk about this more in depth, but again, you can reach out to me and to both of us, Selena's. when you talk about you being a CSU faculty mentor, your pedagogical theories, that's something was new to me, but it's something you should do research on. And then also when you're talking about research, your future research and how you want to conduct your future study, you also want to include official surveys like you'll be using in your the survey that you create for your study. So things like that, you want to be really specific and do your research. And then also for me, for example, I included the school that I wanted to go to. So they had tutoring opportunities for me as a grad student. And I included that, be like, this is what I'm going to do when I go to grad school. I'm going to take these courses to help me become a CSU faculty mentor. And it's just doing that research and connecting it, because they have all those resources. You just got to be able to apply. So if you ever need more specifics on essays, look for us and we'll be able to help you, because I reached out to Selena and she went through this process and I had to go and do my research, but it ended up coming together. And those were things that I can use in the future that like, I'm like looking forward to, because I'm like, okay, all these opportunities are shown through here because of this research that I did now in this application. So research is key. Continue that.
And I think just to follow up with what Selena just mentioned, we've learned a lot as a pre-doc coordinators, Mirsha and I, and certainly on our campus. And so we have a file of sample essays. We have what we put together is like a primer of like best tips for being competitive for this particular award and what to think about, and all the strategies that Selena really mentioned. So we know that this is a lot of information, about the pre-doc. Take it in, absorb it as much as you can, but know that if you want to move forward in this with the scholarship, you'll hear this all again in various iterations, and we have lots of resources to support you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And it could seem like these 3 essays all big and daunting, but really when you have that like such great support, it makes it easier to tackle it really, and starting earlier as well. So to start wrapping up the informational portion for pre-doc, we have a video of Robert Castro, who was a pre-doc recipient in the 2016-2017 academic year. Yeah. We have a short video of him reflecting on his experience as a pre-doc scholar and how it's helped him. He's a UROC Scholar alumni and graduated CSUMB in 2017 with a degree in molecular biology and a minor in health. As well, this past year, he completed his master's in public health at UC Berkeley. And so let's hear from Robert.
This is his shelter-in-place video that he did for us, which was awesome.
Can y'all hear him?
I don't think we can hear it on this end.
Okay.
Okay. If you can share your as well.
Yeah. We'll be also sending this presentation out to you so you can hear him as well in that presentation.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, everybody.
You're good.
Okay, we'll have to skip this, I think. And like I said, for participants, we'll send out the video, and the video link is in there so you can hear his story.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Oh, no, you're good. Yeah, just to kind of sum up what he says it was like really beneficial to have it, like that support. It helped him in thinking about applying to where he is. I think he used the money to visit his current institution as well. He, I think, mentions like the community and how it's really tight knit, and as well, I would definitely second that as pre-doc scholars.
share.
Oh, I can't hear you speaking, Natasha. Can y'all hear her? No? Okay.
And I think we stopped sharing your
Yeah.
screen.
I can definitely hop in, maybe. Let me see. Just to finish off. Let me share my screen. Alrighty. So Mirsha, if you want to take the timeline.
Yes, so I'll just go over the timeline real quick. As we mentioned earlier, the application doesn't open until December. I'm not sure if we went over that, but it doesn't open until early December. But getting this information now places you in a position where you can reach out to your potential faculty mentors and secure them early. And in case, you know, you're hoping to get a mentor and they can't do it for whatever reason, this allows you the time to connect with a different mentor. You know, because remember, they will have to write and submit a strong letter of recommendation. So give yourself some time. And in December, you already know you want to apply. Please let us know so we can schedule a meeting that will most likely be via Zoom with either Natasha or myself. So we can identify you as an interested applicant and we can offer you support and we can move forward with your application process and writing the essays and your you know, just different tips on how we can strengthen your application. I do want to make a note that faculty do go off contract late December through late January for winter break. So if you wait until then to contact a potential faculty member, it might get a little challenging. You might not hear from them right away. So it's a huge advantage to have already, you know, working with faculty members. Early January or January and early February, if you haven't already, let Natasha or myself know that you are interested in applying. Again, so we can be working with your essays and we can reach out to you and know that Selena mentioned the internal CSU meet deadline. That will be February 19th, 2021. And at this time, you should have a nearly completed application. Once Natasha and myself have seen and approved your draft application, you will be given access to a website portal where you will submit your final application and attachments. And Selena mentioned different attachments because some things do have to be uploaded to PDF. So note that that's the internal CSU meet deadline. And students will only receive this portal through either Natasha or myself. This is why it's really important to identify yourself as interested. So we know that you are interested in applying, you are submitting a strong, competitive application. So don't just kind of go all the way to the end and then say, this is our application. And, you know, we need time to review. And also, once you have submitted your application, once we have known that you will submit your application, the Chancellor's Office has their own deadline. Typically, it's about a week after ours. We don't know the exact date yet, but we will, and we'll let you know as soon as we find out. And that's the deadline that you have to go in and upload all your information, all your application, and you'll be able to submit things in different stages. March is when the applicants are informed of the status of their application, whether if it was accepted or not, and some reasons why it might be declined if it wasn't a complete application, or you weren't eligible, or something happened, there was some sort of glitch on the way, but they will let you know if they're missing something or didn't receive a letter of recommendation, or they will let us know and we will reach out to you. But that's what happens in March. And then April is when the applications are being reviewed and scored by a committee of CSU faculty. And then usually late May is when the reviews are finalized and the eligibility is verified. And then June is when students are selected and are notified. And if you are selected, you're now considered a Sally Casanova Scholar or Sally Casanova Honorable Mention. And if you receive an honorable mention, means that you didn't receive the Sally Casanova, but your application was really strong. You are eligible to reapply as an honorable mention, but it's still a great honor to be an honorable mention. And then after that is when the award begins for the following semester and fiscal year. Anything else I missed in there, Natasha?
I think that was all great. Natasha, are you able to? No audio. Okay, that's okay. So, Mirsha, if you, oh, I can go over if Natasha doesn't have any audio. If sounds good and you're a good fit and match, these are the next steps. Like we mentioned, contact one of our lovely Pre-Doc campus coordinators to see if you're eligible and talk about your goals and fit for Pre-Doc. Then second, contact your faculty sponsor that you would want to assist you throughout the cycle, someone who is in your field or discipline and knows you well and is willing to support you through that year. From them, request a strong letter of recommendation. And then lastly, revisit the campus coordinator to create your personalized and individualized application timeline so that you can give yourself enough time for essay writing. And so to ensure timeliness, we recommend that steps 1 to 3 should be done before February 2021 to ensure like you have a competitive and complete application that has been looked at and revised several times. Mirsha, I don't know if we have a lot of time to go over CDIP. Do you want to like briefly mention what that's for?
Like I said earlier, this is kind of a sister program, and undergraduates and master level students can apply. New and continuing doctoral students and lecturers are enrolled, obviously, in doctoral program, but it provides financial support, mentorship by CSU faculty, similar to the Pre-Doc, and grants and professional development. And the financial support is a subsidized loan, which you can borrow up to $10,000 a year for a total of $30,000 within a 5-year period while you're fully enrolled in a PhD program. And then after candidates finish their PhD program, if they apply and are hired at a CSU in a faculty position, the loan can be held at a rate of 20% of each year of full-time teaching. So essentially making it forgivable over a 5-year period. So that's the big draw of the program. Also the mentorship by CSU faculty, and this will be your mentor through the entire program. Grants and professional development, those are additional money. So those are in forms of mini grants, and that's separate from the loan. So it's just money for you to apply to help you with your dissertation, research, however you need to utilize it. It's up to, I think, each year is like $2,500 you could take, and that's free money for yourself. And then there's also grants for you and your faculty mentor to travel. And so if you need to present or attend a conference, that's money for you and your mentor. And in the sake of time, if you have any further questions, I'm more than happy to answer any questions. And thank you.
Thank you. And this is just a little bit more information. Like we said, you'll be able to access these slides. And if you are interested in CDIP in the future, Mirsha is your contact, and there's her email. Just to be mindful of time and wrapping up, here's some additional information, the link to the Pre-Doc website. As well, you can look at the previous awardees, some resources about CDIP. So we will be having follow-up. If you are interested in applying to PreDoc, we'll be having PreDoc workshops, looking at how to build your essays and creating that budget. And so me and Selena, as well as Mirsha and Natasha, will be facilitating those again, just to give you a little bit help with those application pieces. So we did run out of time, but if anyone does have any questions, please feel free to stick around. And thank you all so much for attending. It was nice seeing you all. Thank you so much, Jesus.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a great weekend.
Take care. It was nice seeing you.
I had a question.
Yeah, of course, Steph.
Hi, I'm Stephanie. Is only one person chosen each time?
No, there can be multiple awardees. I think the most was like 3 or 4 the last few years. But yeah.
Okay. And then I also had a question of, for example, you said it was for CSUs, but a lot of the film PhDs that I can go to after the CSUMB are like universities that are not CSUs. Is that affected at all in the application when I mentioned like possible schools?
Yeah, so the programs that you're interested is not necessarily at UC campuses? Is that right?
Right. Well, they're not offered like a PhD in film and TV would be like UCLA or USD or even like Iowa or something, but there's not like CSUs that offer that.
Yeah, no, if you're interested in like attending those, like including them on your budget is perfectly fine in that section. Like talking about what other campuses you want to visit. In the essay, it might be strategic to like look at UC campuses and see if there are any programs that you could speak to, and it's not necessarily saying that that's the campus that you want to like really attend, but like seeing that they have such a close connection with the UC, it'd be nice to include that in the essay. And like working with the coordinator and perhaps doing a little bit of digging on your end could help with that and fitting it in the essay.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, that was my only question, I guess. Oh yeah, I did have another one. For the research proposal, that would be something I can work with a coordinator with, because I like during summer research, I still have difficulty narrowing down what my question is for like a personal project. So I think I struggle the most in that, since cinematic arts is kind of like pretty broad, and at the same time like you can't choose anything because it's too narrow at the same time. So would that be something that the coordinator can help me narrow down?
I would say absolutely. And I would say that there probably is a narrow focus in your research. It's just a matter of talking about it.
Okay.
And yeah, no, absolutely. And I think together with the mentor as well, your mentor would actually be the person who would also help you sort of frame your research. Most of the time what's happened, and Selena, correct me if I'm wrong, the research essays end up being that you can talk about the research you've done. And so a lot of it's kind of thinking about doctoral research, but they really want to know that you've done some research and that you've done some thinking around putting together a study, putting together, a line of inquiry, and like that's your space to talk like a researcher. So that's the space. But yeah, absolutely, you get definitely feedback from me or from one of the the pre-doc coordinators, me or Mirsha. But certainly work with your faculty mentor. Absolutely, it's kind of a team. You got a writing team that works with you. Great.
Yeah,
question.
Selena was I was in Selena's writing group, and she was the perfect mentor.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
So you know the value of that, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you so much for your guys' time. I signed up to this without even knowing. I just knew Selena had been awarded this. I'm like, I'm just gonna go to it. But now I'm looking forward to possibly applying. So
Cool.
I really appreciate your guys' time.
Yeah. Thank you for popping in.
And it was so nice seeing you.
Thank you too, and congratulations on graduating.
Thank you. Thank you.
And
Okay, we'll see you guys around.
All
All
right.
right. Bye.
I also had a quick question. So I am interested in applying, and I'm guessing my question is like, how do I get started? And maybe like having a conversation with the coordinator. So would the best way to do that is to reach out to either Natasha or Mirsha?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Send you an email. Okay, got it.
I would go before you send us an email. I'm just curious, and you certainly could.
Yeah.
Do you have a faculty mentor who you have like sort of you think about would be a good fit for this particular application to work on with or work with on? Yeah.
Yes, I'm definitely thinking, because I mean we've been working on research this summer already, so I'm thinking of maybe reaching out to her first and like letting her know that I'm interested in applying and kind of just like getting her feedback and
yeah, that would be a great start, is to kind of do that, and then at the same time email Mirsha and I, and then you know, one of us obviously we'll schedule an appointment with you to talk a little bit more about your particular goals in the pre-doc. It was a great question you posted in the chat about like, I'm not sure if I want to be faculty.
Yeah.
But I think, like I mentioned, that there's a lot of other facets of that, and so just we're not going to push you into the scholarship if it's not a good fit, because there's some people that, you know, that sort of start this journey and then they're like, you know what, I don't even want to be in the classroom at all. Like, I don't want to do this. I want to go into industry, you know. So we recognize, okay, this is not the scholarship for you. But sometimes it just takes a couple of discussions just to chat about it and find out that, yeah, this scholarship actually would be a really good fit. So I think it's definitely worth doing that.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate everyone.
We look forward to talking with you more.
Awesome. All right.
Have
a good day.
Thanks, Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a couple questions for y'all. Thank you so much for that presentation. Hi, Natasha. How are you doing?
Good. I'm good. It's good to see you.
Yes, likewise. So I'm very interested in this, and I kind of had issues, or not issues, but I kind of wanted to see, and like I won't get into anything right now because, like, I don't know, your time is very valuable, so I'm just gonna make this really quick. I'm a business major. I don't know if that's gonna have anything to do with the scholarship and in regard to applying for it, but I know, and like I think Natasha already knows and Selena knows, that I want to bridge the gap between, or I'm trying to research in business with like research and type of field. So I kind of just wanted to know if that was something that was going to be possible under the scholarship. Yeah.
No, absolutely. I think so what we'd want to chat with you about, the first question I think about when I sort of hear what you're sort of pitching is where do you plan to go to graduate school? Do you plan to go and like get a PhD? Sorry, not where, but what degree do you want to seek out?
I definitely don't want an MBA. Like,
okay, so if you don't want an MBA, then you're now more eligible for this particular scholarship, right? Okay. Because that's what they want to know. They want to, the best kind of sort of candidates for this particular scholarship are getting their doctors of philosophy, so the PhD degree, which is Doctor of Philosophy. And so that's really, it's like the folks who want to do the research, and, you know, and certainly if it's business oriented, then, you know, you might have another discipline in there that you're also, like you're talking about bridging, right? I go back to the applicant from 2017, 18, I think, Jorge Cabrera. He actually was a pre-law, like I was talking about, pre-law and also psychology, and wanted to go into immigration studies, but the psychology lens of it, right? So he had a very, very robust research focus and mentor, and he was a great candidate for this. But, you know, so I think absolutely. It all has to do with that degree you're seeking after your undergraduate degree.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yes, that helps. And I also have like another question. What if you like don't specifically know what research you want to do in order for the essays to write out the essays? Because I'm still having like a struggling factor in that, and I'm as like we're growing in our identity of being a researcher, it's like you're kind of dabbling in different things. So I really don't know, like, yeah, but I guess I'm getting ahead of myself as well, because I don't even, I need to meet with either Mirsha or you first. Yeah.
Sure, you absolutely can do that.
Yeah, no,
I would also, yeah, go ahead, Selena. I'm sorry.
question. Actually, I just wanted to say, like, I think that's like a perfect spot. Like you're still an undergraduate. I think you're going into your third year, right?
Yes.
Forget. I
Yeah.
still don't know what year you are. Third. You're going to the third year, so you like, of course, like it's very hard to know like exactly what you want to do, exactly what you want to research. So like you're in a fantastic spot, exploring those different research questions in business, and that's like also a tough position to be in because like you're the first business major in UROC, right? And so you're sort of filling out the field, and so like those questions are totally valid, and I still don't know what I want to research, but it's all about like what question that you want to pose for like that first essay. And so it, like I said earlier, is like it really helped meeting with Natasha, and like she really like honed down and like what you're really interested in, by asking like why. So like why do you want to study this? Why do you want to why you're interested in this part and this part? And so kind of we did a little bit of that work in like writing fellows, and so that just it's that times like 50. And so it's a process. And so like
yeah, and I want to underscore what Selena is saying is this idea of like we know like Selena isn't going to study fish, right? Like you don't, like she's higher ed. These are the issues of like particular populations and how they persist in higher education. We've narrowed it down to this focus. Will her focus change as she goes on to her master's and PhD? Probably. It'll probably stay in that house though, is my guess. I don't know. She might change houses. She might be like, you know what, forget higher ed. I'm gonna go over here and work with fish. I don't know. But you know what I mean? What we're doing is we're creating here's what I'm thinking about right now as I write this application. And here's what I really feel about this topic. So Selena, and because she feels so she's like so empowered by this idea of working in higher ed and working for particular populations. This is like her, this is what I get from you, right? Like, that you're just sort of, you're there and that's who you are. And so that comes out in your essays, right? So it can't be artificial. It can't be like, yeah, maybe I want to do this, or maybe I want to do this. We tap in and we kind of go, okay, where are you actually coming from? Why are you want to do this, and we pull on that story, and then that story ends up being your application. Can it change? Yes. It's not a contract. Does that help, Saray?
Absolutely it does, because like I'm actually seeing what you're saying kind of like related to what I've already been like struggling with. And I know when my true passion comes out, like doing summer research experience or trying to find them, it like came out in different ways, and those are the experiences that I got accepted into versus the other ones that were like, oh, that just fits with my major, but it's not something that I want to do.
Right.
So just like, see, this little talk is already
that's
big.
All it takes. That's all. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Natasha.
Yeah, absolutely. You write from that place of passion, right? That place of passion, that place of like drive and ambition, and like what motivates you to get up every morning. And we tap into that and we go, great, let's do that, right? Like go. Yes. And then that ends up being your story, and that ends up being the thing that drives you in your application. And the reviewers will see that. They will see the drive. If they don't, then it's kind of like, it'll, the writing will lay flat.
Yeah.
But when you write with passion and drive, oh, the writing just like sings. It's amazing.
Okay.
Yes. And I can say I've seen your writing, and that definitely will come out through those essays, that passion and drive.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And then I'm sorry, Selena, did I cut you off?
Yeah, you're okay. I just wanted to say, like, the first time I wrote this, like the first application, I was in your position. I was like, I have an idea of what I want to do, and I'll try my best to be as specific. And then again, you're, like you said, you're going through this research.
Oh, I think you're cutting off.
Yeah, she's cutting out. Well, it's good I'm not the only one with audio issues today. Oh, Selena, I think we missed the last part of what you said. So yeah.
It always does.
Okay.
Yeah, now I'm back. But I think the biggest takeaway from this is when you do the application, because at first I was like, oh, I want to do this and this and this. But then when you do the application, you start unpeeling yourself like an onion. You figure out what it is you truly want to do. So I think you'll figure it out. It is intimidating at first, but with time, I think it gets better, and you'll figure it out. I think.
No, yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I definitely is intimidating because, like Selena says, I'm the first business major. I have no idea what I'm doing. But I'm taking it one step at a time. And I know I really want this, and I know I've wanted a PhD. So hopefully we can meet and we can discuss the next steps.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time. I'm sorry I went over a little bit.
Okay.
Yes, and I will be reaching out
Yes,
to
please do.
Natasha or
Absolutely.
Mersha. Yes.
Yeah, take a look at our calendars, see what's available at the same time you're available, and pop some time on our calendars, and we will chat
Okay.
more about your particular
Perfect.
goal. Who's your mentor? Is it Dr. Lynn?
No, it's actually Angie Narswari.
Oh, Narswari. Okay. Cool.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, have a chat with her too, and just to let her know like what you're thinking.
Oh no, they're absolutely delighted. Yeah, both of them. Angie. I mean,
they're super supportive. Yeah.
Okay. All right then.
Okay,
I will talk to. Yes.
Well,
Bye
then
bye.
to be
Thank you so
continued.
much.
To be continued.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome.
To be continued. All right.
Awesome.
Have
Okay.
a good day, everyone. Bye
You too.
bye.
Have a good weekend. Bye.
Bye.
Hi. I am so sorry about that. My audio just totally kapitzed.